not a big fan of Pad, but it's been a while since I've seen one, to be honest, so we'll see. Oh no, looks like we're off.
Yeah, it does look like we're off.
Just 20 bucks in Link's house here. All the family savings from Link and his uncle.
Yeah, it's not going to amount to too much at the start here. We're hoping to find a little bit more than that prior. I guess we're going to sync these two up a little bit.
Yep, gonna sync up the streams here a little bit, and off we go to see what weapon we get from Uncle this time around.
Bomb escape.
Ooh. That's a toughie, or it can be. There's a couple of strats that make these really easy if you know where to place the bombs and how to lure the guards. But if you're not really aware of all these, it can be quite tricky.
How many bombs does the big guard with the big key take, actually?
I honestly don't know, because I usually throw the pots at him. 2 pots will take him out.
Oh yeah, that would make sense, yeah.
I think it might be 2 bombs at least, probably more. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually 4 or something.
Like 4, maybe 5. But yeah, this is gonna be a little tricky of a start.
Of note here, especially with the bomb escape, is that a patch came out, or I would almost call it a little hotfix, shortly after version 29 and this mode was released, that makes it so you can't hard lock yourself anymore, which means even if you end up running out of bombs, if you save and quit at any point during escape and start your save game up again, whatever weapon you had will be replenished. So you'll either get another full bar of magic if you got a magic weapon, you'll get another supplement of 10 bombs, or 30 arrows if it was something else.
Well, that's a nice little fail-safe if things do go entirely south during a early start. But our first really big item is Power Glove. Yeah,
finding the glove here in the escape first chest, that's a really nice first find.
Yeah, Power Glove and Mitts are typically 2 of the items you want to find really early, just to have access to the entire overworld.
Absolutely. Both of these runners not super practiced here with the bomb escape, it looks like. Raja is down to 1 bomb, RajaLikeTheTiger in the blue guard room now.
Yep. So Raha here will be the first to get to the big key guard.
We're also opting for the pots with only 1 bomb left, as we said. Probably not a great idea to try to bomb that guy.
Yeah, and I want to say those will respawn if he goes upstairs too, so there is no real issue there.
Another 20 rupees here in the chest in Zelda, so
the start of the siege so far has been more or less a poor man's rupee hoard.
Yeah, I mean, a little weird. They're finding a lot of the red rupees already, but they also got the Power Glove.
Yeah, there's some good and some bad. Now, just looking at sprites, I know RajaLikeTheTiger is using Cerno. I believe that is Terra from Final Fantasy VI that Raja's using.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I'm not entirely versed on that particular series. I want to say it's one of her like awakened states.
Alright, so both of our runners now coming up on the back part of escape. They're down to 1. Well, RajaLikeTheTiger has 2 bombs, so he has a 1 bomb advantage right now. We'll have to see if any of these guys decide to use that little safeguard after they've opened the mantle, because once you've opened that and gone into the sewers, this is where you start if you save and quit. So it wouldn't be a massive time loss, and it would replenish their bombs.
I would probably consider it, given you need at least a bomb to kill the rat.
Yeah, and then as you were saying earlier, you definitely want another bomb at the very least to open up the back of escape and not have to come back later.
Maybe Raja here will see what's in the chest and maybe take into consideration after that.
Yep, looks like it.
Although it's the key, that should have occurred.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this may be problematic if he runs out of bombs.
Yeah, it looks like Raja might be content with just leaving the back of escape open, or closed rather, for now, and just using his last bomb here, while RajaLikeTheTiger will most likely be able to open it up. Hopefully,
I mean, yeah, it looks like he missed the rat, so now he's gonna have to take a death.
Yeah, that is
I suppose with the power glove, it's not too much of a trip to get to the back of escape, since they have it already, but
yeah,
if you can do it on this first trip, it's better. Rocket does get the rat and has one last bomb, but needs to be careful not to die.
Ooh, yeah, he's very close to dying now.
I don't think the rats will do quite enough, but 2 hits from them I think will definitely kill him.
Yeah, he can pick up an easy heart here, so he should be fine. Grabs a mushroom, the map, and the bow. Oh man.
He got his wish. He got his early bow.
Alright, but looks like Raja is back, and it's not, as I said earlier, 10 bombs, you start with 3 bombs, which makes a lot more sense in hindsight.
Yeah. It's basically just enough to get back. It's basically a normal bomb drop.
Exactly.
Alright, so Sanctuary does have an item. Let's see what that is. More arrows that we can actually fire, so not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Raja again having to use his last bomb here, but at least he has another one for the back of escape, so he's not going to be missing out on the mushroom and especially that bow.
Rocket, meanwhile, is going on the typical starting route for most randomizer seeds. He is headed towards the lumberjack cave in the woods.
Yeah, checking the tree pole only gets a bunch of hearts. Not really what you want to see when you pull that tree.
Given he just went through escape, is that the 3rd tier or is that the 1st tier? Because he's killed a lot of enemies.
I think because he got hit. That's a good question, actually. That looks like a bomb. That is ether.
So maybe required. That is tentative Agadim.
Yeah, we probably won't know for quite a bit, even though with the glove we're already 1 step to our Dark World access, but it's going to be a while before we see any required medallions here, probably.
Yeah, it's going to be quite some time. But they will have to keep the Aga item in mind. More reds!
Yeah, I mean, at this point he's probably not too unhappy about it. Now he's hoping he finds another one so he can afford the bottle vendor and doesn't have to come back for that. What just happened to that sign that Raja threw? Oh man, and look at that, 8 bombs from the bush crab that RajaLikeTheTiger unfortunately killed with the bush throw earlier.
Yeah, that would have been pretty nice, although there's bush crabs in a lot of places in the overworld, including one on the way over to the bottom portion of Hyrule.
Yeah, the only downside is now that RajaLikeTheTiger will probably make his way through Kakariko and the south side first, I think, maybe. Apparently he wants to risk it and see if he can get some bombs here.
Yeah, Rocket's gonna need to find bombs if he wants to actually check all of the village. Well, there's blue mail.
Okay, no. 2 hard containers and blue mail. This is apparently $20, of course.
Yep. Not bad, just considering you kind of want to find those early, just as a nice little safety buffer.
Yeah, grabbing a couple of full hearts and the blue mail early is really nice. Grabbing a lot of heart containers is mainly annoying, but heart pieces, I should say. But grabbing the heart containers, that's nothing anyone would complain about, probably.
Yeah, and RajaLikeTheTiger is not going to risk not finding bombs any further. It's just going to buy them.
Yep, and this might give Raja a little bit of catch-up time here. He is already going to be able to bomb everything.
Rocket didn't quite get that bomb where he needed to in time. More... Oh, there's Sankheart.
Alright, so hearts and money, I guess. That's what we're getting here.
And the Moon Pearl.
Oh, man. And that's exactly the item that RajaLikeTheTiger is gonna get, but he had to leave it behind on his first visit.
Yep, he knows to go back. He went to get the bombs for that specific reason, knowing he was going to get that item.
Mm-hmm.
There's the money.
Alright, that's fine.
That's what you're hoping to see.
Ooh, and the shovel. And the sword. And more hearts.
So it's not a bad start just for basic equipment, but you have 2 fetch quest items already.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, that's a ripoff.
Master ripoff artist.
That is a super ripoff. Couldn't have gone any worse.
He's taken lessons from King ripoff over in the Zora domain.
Alright, now Rocket's gonna grab his Moon Pearl. All they really need is either another glove upgrade or the hammer, and we're in Dark World already.
Yeah, that's a pretty early potential Dark World access. And it would only give the seed that many more branching options on where to go.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I think that might be our first heart piece that we're actually seeing the seed.
Yeah, because we've seen a ton of heart containers, but no heart pieces. And we got a map check. Hera and Eastern are red and blue pendant with a non-5/6 crystal over a desert.
Oh man, so 2 pendant dungeons in the light world. That's ooh, and the mirror on top of the library, so boots 100% required.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
Yeah, boots are definitely required with that.
Kinda depends on if swamp is a crystal or not, but I would say it's most likely required.
Yeah, mirror is most often required. It makes things easier anyways. What this does mean, though, is that we are going to need at least 1 medallion dungeon.
Yes, absolutely.
So that ether, very possible to come back now. Now, I'm actually, I kind of like what Raja did here. He went to check the dig spot quick with the shovel, so he didn't have to put it off till later.
Yeah, I like this. I was thinking that RajaLikeTheTiger might be saving and quitting to also go over to the dig spot, but he's checking swamp first, which is where Raja is most likely going now. But
Yeah,
just getting that out of the way.
I imagine both these guys are headed down here.
Yeah, probably gonna make their way over to the mini Moldome cave afterwards. And then it's gonna be interesting to see if they decide to make the trip over to Ice Rod Cave or leave that for now.
Okay, I know I said that early heart containers are good, but we're up to 8 hearts already. We found 5 of those things.
Yeah, I think at this point we're kind of good on hearts for a while, at least.
Yeah, the game says no, have another heart piece.
I mean, you're kind of happy about the first maybe 3 or so that you find, but if they just keep coming like that in a row, you're like, come on, Seed, please.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's enough for now. Can we move on?
Oh, interesting. Going with the bombs here. Has a sword, maybe forgotten that he has one? Nope, he hasn't.
No. Granted, those two on the left would probably be a little faster to kill with the bombs, but you need to actually land a semi-precise bombs placement. There's our Dark World access.
Yep, there's our Dark World.
And another heart container.
And
the flippers. No fake flippers today.
Alright, so this will probably lead RajaLikeTheTiger to immediately check Hobo and what's on Lake Hylia Island, and then he might go over to Ice Rock Caves.
Yeah, he might. And I imagine the consideration of actually going into Dark World is now on both these runners' minds. Oh, hi, Mitz. Okay, now the mirror is absolutely required.
Oh man, look at this. This is beautiful. Mirror on the library ledge, and then Mitts on Lake Hylia Island.
And Boots, who knows where.
Exactly. I just want to quickly mention, I don't want to talk about my own seed too much, but I also had Mirror on the library, and my boots were in the last chest on the Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock, which was my second to last crystal.
Ow.
So just so you guys... Yeah, just so you guys know what we might be in for here.
Yeah. Also, I believe Rocket skipped out on Hobo, so...
Yeah, I believe he did, and Raja did as well, I think.
I completely missed what was on Zora's Ledge, but he can't actually afford Zora's Pay Toll right now.
Yeah, which means there must be something good.
Looking back... Oh, that's the flute. Yeah, go get that.
Oh, okay, flute. Yes, absolutely, we want that. Meanwhile, Raja finds the red mail, so we're even more healthy and secure now.
This is the seed of you will not be dying.
Hopefully, anyways.
So this is just kind of an interesting little start here. We have the known locations of a couple of important items, but we have to actually find those items to get them.
Yeah, the first step is gonna be the boots for that little chain that we found so far. It really kind of depends on, yeah, what these guys decide to do. Do you wanna... obviously, Rocket is gonna activate his flute first. That's the first order of business.
That is priority number one for Rocket. Where he goes from there is up in the air, because he can flute pretty much anywhere.
Exactly. And the thing is, there's a lot of runners who like to finish up the light world a little bit, as much as they can before dipping into the dark world, even if they have really early access. And then there's the runners who just go willy-nilly wherever the seed leads them. They'll dip into the dark world, 10 minutes after the start if they can.
I would be tempted to do the latter, just given... If the seed gives you this stuff early, typically there's something important in the dark world.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like Raja having the same idea immediately, so he'll hopefully also check up to Zora and see that flute.
This also means we're not going to know what is over at Meyer, rather, until someone gets the boots.
Oh yeah, that's very true. No Mitts without the boots, and no Dark World Portal at number 6 flute spot without the Titans.
Alright, looks like Rocket's cleaning up Ice Rod Cave since he got the flute. Raja, don't leave.
No,
You need that.
He was thinking about it, but nope. Alright, and there's the red mail for Rocket.
And Rocket going back to Kakariko means he's probably gonna go do Skull and Thieves.
Dude, you already have it. That bottle vendor is rude if you want to give him more money. Alright, but yeah, as you were saying, RajaLikeTheTiger immediately heading to the Dark World. Yeah, sure. I mean, none of the decisions are bad decisions, especially not this early in the race. Everything is open to you, so what you check is completely up to your gut feeling, basically.
Yeah. This is also Dark World map information, so... The green pen is in ice. 5 and 6 are actually Skull and Thieves.
Ooh, interesting. All right, we can't do a whole lot in Skull yet because we don't have the Fire Rod, but Thieves is definitely open to us, even with a big chest check, theoretically, because of that hammer that we got.
Yeah, so there's some good things that you might be able to find just really quick here.
All right, now Raja activating his flute.
The big question is, where will Raja go after this?
Yeah, it's we'll see. Will he also head up to the Dark World immediately? Nope, he's fluting somewhere first. Maybe he wants to check out that mushroom first. Oh, he's going to Death Mountain. Okay, I like this.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because he's only going to get 2 items, because he would need the hook shot. Because we know where the mirror is. He can't use that.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm personally a fan of activating the old man dark Death Mountain spawn as soon as you get the flute, because it's the most convenient save and quit location you can have. It's a free health refill and the shortest walk to be able to use the flute, leaving his cave.
This is a good point, and it's why Raja's doing this right now. Seems to have having a teeny bit of trouble navigating his way around, though.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, there we go.
Rocket, meanwhile, decided to check the lowest chest first, then go to the bottom right to get the key, and then he death warped back to the start.
Yeah, an interesting way to go through this. I'm not sure if it's actually faster.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But he is making a good note to change his entrance spawn if he dies trying to do this bomb jump.
Yeah, very good choice there. Looks good though to me. Yep, just needs to... Oh, just a compass. Needs to be a little careful about these mini mold arms here, but looking good.
Also gotta take a death just for a health refill anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got another item on the right, and he has another item he could choose to go get in the later portion of the dungeon, but may not consider it given his low power output. Well, now he knows that an item is almost certainly over there.
Yeah, unfortunate but true.
Because we are short a key and the 2 items. We found the normal dungeon items, but he's gonna leave it behind.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't want to go into the back there. Okay. We got a small shield up on Spectacle Rock and a bomb upgrade, I believe that was in Spectacle Rock Cave, so nothing really up there on Death Mountain for Raja. Let's see where he goes from here.
It looks like lower Dark World. Gonna go check Hype Cave.
Yeah, okay, Hype Cave, maybe check out what's on Pyramid. He could also head into Pod. Doesn't have the lamp, but if he's confident in his darkroom abilities.
Yeah, Pod is one of the harder dungeons to do with dark rooms, especially the Dark Maze. But it can be done.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we're getting a Village of Outcasts check from RajaLikeTheTiger. Only finds an arrow upgrade in there.
Well, that's a lot of money in the Hype Cave.
Ooh, man, even more money.
Not very Hype Cave, but very money-filled cave, which is still very important.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely pushes him over the threshold. Oh, we got the boots!
Rocket's just gonna immediately grab his mirror.
Yeah, very
his
good
mitts.
choice.
I think that's the smart move.
He has all that information, and both the mirror and the mitts open up so much, especially in combination with that flute. It's the best choice to just, go and be like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, it's just a major mobility upgrade, like 2-fold on both items. It'll make everything more convenient, and you can still get to Thieves Town pretty easily afterwards if he wants.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Raja here, because even though he'll be very close to his boots, he doesn't have those mitts, so he can't get into the Village of Outcasts from down here.
No, which means he will have to take another save, quit, and flute up there to actually get to the location.
Meanwhile, Rocket grabs his mirror and is probably gonna head over to like Hylia Island immediately, I would imagine.
I think he's considering checking. He may have been thinking about the shovel, but no, he's just going to mirror or leave. Now he came back here. Is he just not getting the mitts?
He's going. I'm not sure. Maybe he's going back to the Dark World, very obviously. But I'm wondering where he's going after that.
He may be thinking that he's just going to finish the route he was doing earlier, and then he'll get the mitts at the end of it. Which makes sense from a routing perspective. But at the same time, the mitts make things more convenient otherwise, and you could grab the frog if you had grabbed the mitts before now.
Yeah, also not dashing through here. Interesting choice, but maybe he wants to do Dark World North. You know, check over on the Graveyard Ledge and all that with his mirror.
Now, Raja turned into a mushroom, only got 5 rupees for it. And I was actually curious about this. Rocket did not check the lowest building in the Village of Outcasts.
Oh, okay.
Didn't really need to, it seems, but you gotta make sure everything gets checked off when you can most conveniently get it.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to leave anything behind.
Oh, he's just skipping thieves.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to go into any dungeons yet. Apparently gonna go check out the digging game and then check K45, I'd assume, on the dig spot as well.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was walking over to the dig spot, that's what came to his mind, that he could check it in the Dark World and then mirror out and check it there, and that's why he's going this way.
That's a good point. Raja, meanwhile, gonna see what our actual ripoff has. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Wow, these medallions are getting more and more interesting.
Alright, so we got one medallion already, and we know that we are going to be needing, well, at least one. They could be the same medallion, but we definitely need both of the medallion dungeons.
And we know where we have Quake in a fish and Ether in a lumberjack cave. So this is interesting with these medallions. Wonder where Bombos is now.
Oh, hey, and as you say that, I only just now realized, as you said, Quake in a fish. It's from a fish, but it's the wrong fish.
That is indeed the wrong fish.
Alright, we're getting our first check over to Sahasraral's hut here from Raja. Probably going to be dipping, well, might be dipping into Eastern.
With his boots, he could have actually bonked that wall. Okay, have we found all the heart containers yet?
I'm thinking there can't be too many more left, right? I mean, there's plenty of pieces of hearts as well, so...
Yeah, I think we have found at least 7 heart containers. I think there might be like 9 even. Yeah, there's more than that because there's 1 per dungeon. So there's 11 heart containers. We found 7 of them.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, they really can't be complaining about their defensive options. Their item options, yeah... It's looking a little better for Rocket Racer right now just because of those boots.
Yeah, and Raja is kind of going away from his boots, so to speak. He could technically clear out this whole dungeon if he's willing to go through the one room before Armos in the dark.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see where he finds the items. He's gonna want those 3 items in here at the very least, and Eastern Palace Dark Rooms are definitely manageable, I'd say.
Now, another weird little thing is this sea does not require much to access pedestal.
Very true.
Like, the pedestal will be open as soon as we find something for Ice Palace, either Bombos or the Fire Rod, and some fire source to light Hera's basement, potentially. So Fire Rod would open up both avenues.
Mm-hmm. I also just want to quickly mention that the first item that Raja picked up here in Eastern was also yet another heart container.
Wow. Oh, he's doing Hobo now too. Okay, this is actually kind of smart from Rocket.
Oh yeah, I like this. Just picking up his Titan Smiths, we don't want to neglect that.
Yep, so what he's basically done is he has taken care of every single south Dark World check, and has left himself with like mostly dungeon checks.
Yeah, it was an unusual route, but it was pretty thorough, and it might definitely pay off for him. I mean, it has already paid off for him just by finding those boots.
Yeah. Well, Raja finds the big key in the most ideal location, right before the big chest.
That's such a pleasure if you find it here. If you have to go all the way around and then you have to go back to the big chest because it has your last item potentially.
I guess that was all 3 items.
Yeah, that must be it for Eastern Palace, so nothing there for him. Hopefully Raja makes his way back to the village of outcasts sooner rather than later.
Rocket bolted over to Meyer after he got those mitts.
Yeah, with the mirror in hand now.
Yeah, with the mirror in hand, it does make sense for him to come here. We did not get to see what the actual entrance was, though, I don't believe. He never went close enough.
Oh yeah, I didn't pay attention to that at all. Can now check into desert. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, as you were mentioning earlier, it doesn't have a fire source yet to open up the back end for the boss.
So he can't actually clear the dungeon, but he can search it. And, well, if you clear out the front half of the dungeon, it's a pretty quick trip to the back at any given time.
Yeah, plus he at least has the boots already, so whatever's on the torch, it won't lock him out. And it is a small key.
Agina had a blue boomerang from the looks of it as well.
Yeah, alright, I can't complain about a blue boomerang. Doesn't really get us anywhere, but it's a blue boomerang.
Indeed. Oh, there's the big key. You didn't even need the boots to get to the back.
Yeah, but at least he can full clear pretty much everything now except for the boss, so there's a good chance he might get his 2 items before even having to check back for the boss.
Yeah, it's entirely likely.
And also, it looks like Raja is on his way back to Village of Outcasts, which he will hopefully go to. Can definitely afford the chest game, and then we'll be grabbing his boots.
Well, both items were on the right side.
Alright, so that's it for Desert for now, at least. Probably gonna see a checkerboard cave check after this.
Yeah, I would presume so. He came all this way over here. Maybe even see what Meyer's medallion is before he fully takes off. That or he's just not bothering checking it because he knows he doesn't have a medallion currently.
Yeah, it might also just be a little bit of a tournament nerves here.
Ooh.
Oh, alright, a cave, okay. It opens up not only Bumper Ledge, but also Spike Cave.
Yeah, and it's one of the 2 pieces we were missing to still go over to Aghanim. If he's needed.
Very true. I think at this point he's pretty much over with. We have the hammer and the flipper, so we can pretty much get everywhere in the Dark World.
It's just if we need that ether.
Alright, I completely forgot about that again.
Oh, and chat mentioning there was a Master Sword at Bumper Caves.
Ooh, okay. That might be worth grabbing. We haven't seen any other swords so far, so...
Yeah, I would probably make that trip. Not to mention with the boots and the mirror, Rockin can take care of those pesky top Dark World checks.
Mm-hmm.
Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Cliff, King's Tomb, all at once. Maybe even routing Catfish.
Yeah, he's definitely back on his way to Dark World here on the Village of Outcasts warp. We'll have to see where he goes. Maybe now he wants to check into Thieves Town?
Nope, he's doing that top route.
Alright, that's fair. Maybe checking Bumper Ledge first and grabbing his sword immediately.
Oh, wow. Raja decided to check that remaining chest that could be checked in Skullwoods. It was the key. Both the items are in the back half.
Oh, wow.
That's really unfortunate.
Oh, and Rocket gets a little bit bullied around there by the murder-dactyls, but gets in just fine now, just has to make his way through this bumper cave. And then he'll have a Master Sword, which is definitely a very much appreciated upgrade over the dinky little fighter sword that you have to deal with.
Yeah, pretty much any sword upgrade feels like a very good power upgrade. The one that isn't necessarily required is from tempered up to gold / butter, but all of them still feel very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And Raja now finally back in Village of Outcasts, so he'll hopefully be heading over to the chest game before he dips into Thieves Town.
Yeah, for his sake, we're hoping he finds those boots sooner rather than later. So Rocket's gonna head over. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
Rocket's making his way over to the Graveyard Cliff in King's Tomb now, so these pesky checks will be off the list.
Yeah, I quite like this. He can also, as you said, check King's Tomb immediately. Ah, Raja finally picking up his boots. I'm not sure if he's happy about this. He's probably happy he finally has them, but he's well aware that he could have gotten them like 10 to 15 minutes maybe ago.
Yeah. And off to Thieves Town he is off to. Redundancy's finest. Oh, another sword.
Oh, that was quick.
And Rocket, I think, forgot that King's Tomb was in Light World when bonked the Bonk Rock in Dark World.
Oh.
A little bit of money in the King's Tomb. Was that all you had on you, King? That's fairly cheap. 50 rupees.
Yep, that King only had 50 bucks on him. Sorry. That's all you got.
I completely missed what Raja just picked up.
Got the big key there out of the last chest, so he'll be making his way to the back of Thieves Town now. I don't think he's found anything else. Upgrade,
it was
a
bomb upgrade.
Oh, a bomb upgrade.
That was the chest I missed. Okay. So 2 more items in the back, I believe. Yep. And Rocket's off to the catfish.
Yeah, he's been very thorough. I mean, I don't blame him. He's turning in the mushroom first, apparently.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it's good awareness and routing from him. He's pretty much checking every overworld location in the main part of Hyrule off his list.
Mm-hmm. It's really just a preference, I would say. A lot of people seem to prefer dipping into dungeons as soon as they can.
Yeah, I think most do just for the sake of convenience. The interesting thing, too, is Rocket has full access to Death Mountain as well. Just not Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, very true. He can get to the first chest of Hookshot Cave, but that's about it. But other than that, with what he has, he can get... he has to take the annoying long way if he... Well, he doesn't. He has to take the annoying long way if he wants to get to the right side lower part, I guess.
Ooh, that's a good catfish visit. Possession of silver arrows.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely something you want to have.
And he's going to do his Zora check for Quake. So this is really paying out for Rocket.
Yeah, absolutely. He was very thorough. He made the whole north route through the Dark World and combined everything together here. Combining Catfish and Zora together is probably the best feeling you can get in Rando. Well, maybe not, but it's pretty good.
Oh, it's pretty good, though. Just be able to check these two off the list at around the same point in time just makes things so much easier. And it gives you an actual reason to go to Catfish in the first place.
Now, it looks like we just had some bombs here, and it looks like the big chest is lock in a small key in it, or yeah.
Oh, right, the self-lock thing. I forgot that's a thing now. Yeah, I was wondering where that small key was.
Yeah, it's possible in dungeons that... well, actually, I was going to say dungeons that don't require a big key, but that's not true, because you definitely need the big key to get into Thieves' Town.
Yeah, but if rooms like only need a small key to reach that item, the key can lock itself in, basically. Raja gets through blind pretty quickly.
Yeah, very nice fight. And as you were mentioning, RajaLikeTheTiger now on his way over to the dark side of Death Mountain, and then probably gonna make his way east. Might check into Hera, I guess, if he feels like it.
It's a quick enough check, he might think about it. Also, another heart container from blind.
I think at this point we're kind of reaching the limit here.
If this is the point of, okay, this is enough health, this is getting a little silly now. Like that piece of heart down there in the bottom of Hera. Okay, that's gonna require a basement trip. I think Rocket's gonna leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can really do there.
Yeah, it's a pendant, it's one item, it's not worth your time right now.
Yeah, and Raja finally picking up his mirror probably also remembers that there's the myths on Lake Hylia Island, so he'll be grabbing those shortly as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I actually couldn't remember if he'd actually seen what was on the island, because I know he went to Ice Rod Cave prior to Hobo.
I believe he has.
Actually go straight to Hobo. Well, he's in the right area, so we'll know in a moment. Rocket down to 2 hearts coming to the T-Rock portal here.
Oh yeah, it's clipped by one of the dead rocks. Thankfully, the red male helps protecting him.
Yeah, I think he tried to get the fairy into the bonk rock, but it flew out of his reach.
Yeah, those troll fairies, man.
Bombos.
Alright, the one medallion we haven't seen at all yet.
Alright, so Rocket's gonna get a very large chunk of items here on both Light and Dark Death Mountain. A lot of information to potentially be had here, but also potential for a lot of junk to be had over here.
Raja's immediately following him here. Unfortunately, gets blocked by one of those stupid squirrels.
Gotta hate those dead rocks. And Rocket, not even gonna bother with... No, he is going to Hookshot Cave. Didn't look like he was. And I did not see what was on the island.
Oh yeah, I didn't either. Apparently something important, seeing how he has the mirror out, or had the mirror out originally.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's a one-way bonk rocket. You can't get back, sadly. So Rocket now down to 1 heart. And I think for safety's sake, he's decided he'll check Spiral in a minute after he has more health.
Mm-hmm. Probably a good idea.
Oh, and chat saying that was Ice Rod up there on the island.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that is definitely important.
He may not have seen it. Oh, there's Bombos.
Alright. So that's all 3 medallions done, and so far, we don't need that ether.
Yeah, we need to figure out what Myers' medallion is. Because Rocket did not see it on his trip. More heart containers!
Yay!
And a blue potion, but I think that's our first bottle, so that's pretty nice.
Alright, finally, our first bottle. Didn't even realize we hadn't gotten one of those yet.
Yeah, it's weird to go this long without finding a single one of those 4.
So that, of course, opens up the sick kid who might have something for us. With the flute and the Dark Word Pole right there, it's not really a big deal to check.
Yeah. And Raja going to get that ice rod.
Yeah, very nice. I'm curious to see what RajaLikeTheTiger makes of this, because I'm not sure if he's seen it, as you were saying.
Yeah. Because he's going straight to Spiral. I mean, his thought process might be to grab it before going into T-Rock, but I'd rather make the trip while I'm there.
Yes. I mean, I can see that as well. If he's thinking I gotta go past this and again, anyways, before I go into Third Rock, sort of, might just grab it there.
But with that big 20 in Spiral, he decides to get off the mountain. He did not rescue the old man either. I guess he didn't bother without the lamp. And since he just flew it back over here, I think he's finally gonna go do Thieves Town.
Yeah, looks like it. So, Raja, with deciding to immediately go to Death Mountain, kind of, you know, catching up a little bit here. Also finished Thieves Town already, which obviously gives him a little bit of an advantage. Rocket, though, not to forget, has checked a lot more of the overworld.
Yeah, and let's also not forget that Rocket has silvers that Raja may never get because they're on Catfish.
Very true.
Rocket's also gotten his power boost up to Tempered Sword, since he has the Master Sword from Bumper Cave. Having found that cape in Checkerboard Cave.
Alright, there's bombos for Raja, and Rocket just gonna go through Thieves Town here, basically doing what Raja did earlier. Well, we've already seen all the items. I think he's gonna be catching up on hearts here in a bit.
So trying to follow the seed and its logic here, where would you go after this?
That's a really good question. I will probably... Probably Pod, to be honest.
Yeah, Pod has a good quantity of items. You don't have the lamp, but there's still a good quantity in there. You could potentially check parts of Mire if you do have the medallion. You can check half of Swamp Palace. So there's a lot of options, and Raja may finally get us our medallion check here on this dungeon. I think that was also Bombos.
Yeah, looked like Bombos to me, so we won't need to kill Aga the Seed.
Funny, the one medallion we did was the most convenient one to grab. It was just in the chest.
Yeah, sometimes it just works out like that.
Yeah, no paywall, no evil wizard, just it's right there.
And yeah, as Chad is pointing out, I was also thinking that ice might be a possibility. I personally am not a huge fan of going into ice without the hookshot, but it's definitely possible.
It's definitely in logic. But you do typically want that hookshot just because that one room's bomb jump is not the easiest if you haven't practiced it.
Yeah, that is one of the harder bomb jumps, I'd say.
Alright, so if I had to guess, Raja here is going to do the quick desert check that Rocket did, and we'll potentially just go into Mire. He's right here.
He could definitely get in if he wanted to. I mean, the question is, do you want to go there without a fire source and without Kane?
Oh, that's a good point. No fire source makes that a big gamble. Not to mention there's only 2 items in Mire.
Mm-hmm. I really do think the pod might be their next play, despite them not having a lab. Other than checking maybe more of the overworld, I'm not sure. Every dungeon is kind of, like every available dungeon at least, is kind of an okay choice. But I feel like they can't really effectively do any of them.
Yeah, Desert's the only one, not Desert, sorry, Pod is the only one that they can retroactively clear, so to speak. Ice might be clearable too, but it's up to where a key is.
Yeah.
It's just a big, wide open mystery. Alright, let's see where Raja decides to go next.
Yep, and RajaLikeTheTiger starting his blind fight. Let's see how it goes for him.
He's either thinking overworld locations or he's thinking smiths.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to the smiths. You can check the hammer pegs and everything as well. You got the mirror, you got the flute for the lunchbox, maybe.
Yeah, it all lines up pretty nicely, but it looks like he's doing that top check and getting that tempered sword. Rocket, I imagine, having cleared out most of the overworld already, will probably make his way over to the smiths.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, no, he's just getting that out. He's definitely going for the smiths. Or not. Oh, sick kid.
Okay, he's throwing a sick kid check in. That makes total sense.
Yep, total sense. More of the plague of the sea, those 20s.
Hey, at least it wasn't a heart container.
I mean, we've got so few left, I'd be surprised to see another heart container.
Yeah, I mean, there really can't be that many left, but at this point, nothing would surprise me, really.
Raja's got 15 hearts. And we're not even an hour into the seed. It's ridiculous how much health we found.
Yeah, and apparently we're getting even more.
It is a little surprising that Frog is able to keep up with your Pegasus boots with such small legs.
You know, I've never really trusted that Frog a whole lot. I think he looks kind of shifty as well.
Yeah, unfair assumption, I would say. Second bottle with a second free blue potion in it.
Yeah, that's very convenient, I would say. I mean, with the amount of hearts that they have, no half magic. I might be inclined to check IP at this point.
Yeah. It's looking like it.
We'll see what these guys decide to do. Looks like Raja might be heading over to the Quakefish.
He might be. We also have Heart Piece Smiths. They just continue to give all of the hearts. But now it's time to go turn in that lunchbox. And with that, I think Rocket's checked pretty much everywhere in the overworld he can. Left it behind, Rocket.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lunchbox is not a frog.
Oh, there's half magic.
Oh, hey, speaking of half magic.
Okay, this is really silly now. You're loaded to the teeth now.
I mean, really, the only thing that they're kind of not getting is shields. They have one, but compared to all the other equipment that they have, it's absolutely ridiculous what kind of shield they're carrying around.
No, they're fine. Like, this seed is just... They're fine for, like, the rest of the seed at this point. They're content with their sword, they're content with their arrows. Especially since Raja's actually going to get these silvers. They have their mobility tools. They have their protective red mail. What more could you really want?
Yeah, they even got the cape. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this.
It's time to check pod, at least for Rocket. And Raja, I think now he's doing Smiths. Oh, and Rocket's not done any Eastern checks yet, too, so he's going to get these items from back at Sahasrara's hut.
Yeah, okay.
Which I believe had a heart container back here. Yep.
Oh man, this seed. Lots of hearts.
Yeah, 5 items in pod. We're probably going to find something we need in there. And we got plenty of money for Kiki, too.
Yep, don't have to worry about paying that monkey.
So, I think we're short 3 items for go mode here. It's the hook shot, the fire rod, and the cane of Samaria.
Mm-hmm. And I guess technically the land.
Yeah. Oh, technically the lamp too, yeah. Fire rod would open up both the pedestal and the pyramid fairy. So they're probably hoping to find that item last.
Very true.
It's small key in pod. So Rocket's gonna leave the bow side for later. Feargas, we have actually checked the first chest of hookshot cave. It is not the hookshot, sadly.
Nope, it was just 20 rupees, if I remember correctly.
So, Rocket decided to check the vanilla big key location prior to doing the rest of the dungeon. Probably a good idea since it's easy enough to route in early. Just gonna hope to find one more key.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with the dark room, you want to check the front side of pod first. Usually, it turns out, yeah, that it's a key for a key here. And he's probably gonna find some more keys before the items start appearing, but we'll have to see.
Yep. Well, there's magic powder.
Well, okay, prove me wrong immediately, I guess.
Another fetch quest item that we need to go turn in. But yeah, pod has 6 keys in chests. 6. There's a lot of keys in this dungeon.
Yeah, if there's anything you're gonna have a lot of in pod, it's gonna be keys.
Makes this dungeon a bit of a thing to get ready to route in Key Sanity. There are tricks you can do to save keys, but you typically try to put this place off until you have at least 4.
Alright, so one more chest he can check over here, and then he's gonna have to make his way to the backside.
Yep. I imagine Rocket will probably check the chests that are, you know, in the lower portion in the dark. He may be hesitant to do the dark maze, given we haven't really seen Rocket do any dark rooms up until this point in time.
Yeah, I think the lower portion is probably a little bit easier to navigate than the dark maze.
Rocket's trying to reset these color blocks. Decides to just mirror to reset them. He could have shot a silver arrow through a small gap between the wall and the chest, but I couldn't quite get the line up.
It can be a little tricky to get. You have to line up a little weirdly behind that one chest, and it's just easier that way for him. Not really a huge time loss. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of route divergence here. I think Raja's going to Swamp. Or, no, he's going to the Pyramid from the south. Looked like Swamp.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no one's checked the Pyramid yet. Butter Sword. Would you like to be handed any more freebies?
Oh man, I'm not even sure if Rocket is happy about that at this point, or if he's like, come on, give me a lamp or give me a fire rod or something.
2 keys in the dark.
Oh, that's ugly.
And those are the last of the keys, so there is something in the helmway.
Yep, and that's gonna be the last item he can comfortably check. Oh, it's a big key.
Big key.
Unless he wants to really go through the dark maze, and it looks like he wants to give it a shot.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna try. I missed what was on the pyramid. Raja's already on his way over the pod.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the dark rooms of RajaLikeTheTiger.
Yeah, the information's a little hard to come by with the dark rooms. You need to sometimes, because not every item will actually appear when you take it out of a chest. You sometimes need to look at the HUD bars to figure out what it is, or they'll have to check later, and no one will know. Yeah, like I don't know what that was at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that myself. But it looks like Raja is heading into pod as well, as you were saying, so maybe we'll get another chance to see it. I think it was maybe just an upgrade of some sort, like a capacity upgrade.
It could have been one of those missing dungeon items too. I don't think he had found the map yet.
Yeah.
Pause menu.
Oh, pyramid was just a red rupee, apparently.
Ah. Yeah, Rocket's trying to navigate to the chest on the bottom. Another heart container.
Oh, man.
I think that's all of them. I think that's all 11 of them.
Oh, man, yeah. Okay, despite the horrible find he just had there, I mean, really, another heart container. That was a very, very nice dark maze from RajaLikeTheTiger. Didn't really seem to have any problems at all. Oh, man.
And more red rupees. Do you do helm in the dark, though? That's the next question.
Yeah, do you want to do the turtle room in the dark to yourself? Ooh.
He's going for it.
Yep, he's saying, alright, I'm already in here, might as well do it.
Yeah, the turtle room is one of the worst rooms to do in the dark, just because you never know where these things are. It's a little more helpful if you can use things like ether or bombos to take care of flip turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And with half magic, he will probably consider that. But it is otherwise a pain without using either having the lamp to see them or the fire rod to at least light the torches that are in that room.
I'm a little bit curious why RajaLikeTheTiger is taking this way through here, but it's probably just the way he's comfortable with.
I think it was for a similar reason to earlier. He wasn't able to hit that color switch.
Oh, okay.
And he did not have to hit that color switch here, I want to say.
Nope, he sure didn't.
So now he's made this even more problematic on himself. But he'll still get to the back. He'll still get a chance at that hammer at the turtle room. But Raja making quick work of pod elsewise.
Yeah, both of these guys really not having huge trouble so far. We'll have to see how Raja fares with the dark rooms, if he wants to do them, or if he just says, nah, I'm gonna wait for a lamp. Anything I find here is technically out of sequence.
Yeah, where is that lamp, come to think of it? Not a lot of places left we could find it. It's in a dungeon somewhere, it's just which one.
Yeah, exactly. That's really the trick here. I mean, these guys have checked, I want to say, most of the overworld as far as they can anyways. I mean, there's still stuff like tablets and so on and so forth, but that means we need the book first, you know.
There's the bat, there's all the items were found in Eastern and Desert. We found one item in Hera. And just some of these other dungeons we haven't gone into yet.
And here we go with the turtle room for RajaLikeTheTiger. We can't see anything, but we can kind of judge how it goes. Ooh, that was very nice.
Yeah, you got quite a few of the turtles there. He's getting bullied around a little bit by them. There goes another one.
And this is where the problems can start. He's doing a pretty good job so far, but as you were saying, you have no idea where these guys are walking. Oh, wow. Nicely done.
Guess he was saving the dark rooms to wow us.
Yeah, apparently.
Just gotta get through the walkway to Helm now.
Yeah, and this shouldn't really be a hard part. There's only 2 pairs of turtles, and then you just walk into the big boss storeroom.
Alright, looks like Raja decided to bail prior to checking Dark Maze. He does not want to do it without the lamp.
Yeah, and I don't blame him at all.
However, he
Oh
also
no,
startled
he's
the
a creeper.
guards.
What a creeper. But we are gonna get to see what the Magic Bat has for us. If this is some progression, this might be a big thing here.
That was a quick helm, by the way. If you have silver arrows, that's just one hit to the skull after his helmet's removed and he's gone.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Fire rod.
Ooh, there's the fire rod. Okay, so that's a big one. That opens a lot for Rocket Racer, even though it's out of sequence.
Yep. Skull, pyramid, head, but no lamp. So take it as he may.
And the bat was totally not worth it, just a arrow capacity upgrade.
And typically he's just there to drive you batty.
I see what you did there.
And Rocket's gonna just go do Eastern now. Actually, he didn't go in here yet, so I suppose that makes sense. But, where are you going, Raja?
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well. I was wondering, is he going? No, he can't go into Turbo Rock. He can check it out. Is he? Yeah, I was just gonna say he's probably checking Spike Cave.
Realistically, the only check here that would make sense given he came this way.
Yeah, there's really nothing else left for him to check here, currently at least.
Yeah. Plenty of health to get through this room, though, and a cave with that magic.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have much of a problem getting through here at all.
Yeah.
And it is
there's
the
the
lamp. Okay, so we might be right back in the pot for Raja here.
Well, that also means that, by technicality, Rocket's Fire Rod would be on sequence if he just went to Spike Cave.
True.
And something I actually do want to point out, since Rocket actually just picked up one of the chests that I missed Raja pick up, only 2 items were found in Eastern. The second item was actually a compass, so
Oh.
the Dark Path could have had an item that Raja left behind. Still out of sequence to him at the time, mind, but it would have been something to pick up anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't really want to leave anything behind. But it does look like Raja is heading right back into pod, and good decision as we know. That Fire Rod will open up a bunch of locations for him to check out. Most importantly, maybe the Pyramid Fairy.
Rocket doing the Eastern Palace Dark Rooms. Unlike Dark Palace, much easier to get through these.
Yeah, they're no comparison at all to what you have to go through in pod. If you can make it through the Dark Maze in pod and can't make it through the Eastern Palace Dark Rooms, then I'm surprised.
Yep, something is flawed and you should probably practice, basically, is kind of the light of that.
Mm-hmm.
Map, so Armos actually has it.
Yeah, so he could get it if he wanted to. Looks like he's nah, okay. Decided against it.
He's gonna say no. Don't kill what you don't have to, I suppose.
That menu is absolutely awful.
Back to Mire. Or I guess Desert too, since he can actually kill the Lambos now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crystal, right? He already found all the items in Desert, as far as I remember, right?
He did. And yeah, he's just got a mirror to where whereabouts the back entrance is. Just to answer the question quick for the Blues Man, they need bombos for both dungeons, which both runners have, so yes, they do have it. Rocket mixing up where the key is in desert. There's the two keys under pots. One's in the bottom left, the other's in the top right. Got the order mixed up. Easy enough to do.
Yeah, it's pretty mean that both those rooms look exactly identical as well.
I think the difference is the second one has less pots, but it's about the same deal.
Oh yeah, that's right. The first one is 6 and the second one only is 4.
It's still easy enough to make the mistake of picking up the wrong pot, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get ahead of yourself in your head, and you're like, oh, right, no, it's the other one. So, Lambos are going to die to probably either a Fire Rod or Silver Arrows. Both are very quick means of killing Lammola.
Yeah, shouldn't have much trouble at all in this fight here. He has all the tools to quickly kill these guys.
I was a little early on a couple of his silver shots, though, so Lambo is going to cycle 2.
Barely misses it because he gets knocked back by the rocks.
Yeah. He does finally get it. I would have maybe considered, since he also has Butter Sword, 2 swings of that would have also killed them.
Very true. Alright, so that's crystal number 3 for Rocket Racer, but obviously no more progression items or anything of that sort here in Desert.
Yeah. There's still those 2 items in Skull that neither runner has gotten. Imagine at least one of them will go over there pretty soon.
Yeah, I would
Rocket,
imagine so.
Rocket, unfortunately, bonking on the back wall in the Dark World. Just gonna go back to the front and reset, or even go somewhere else. I'm just gonna go back to the portal.
Yeah, apparently wants to dip in a mire.
Yeah, he was thinking about it. He's kind of unsure where he should go at this point.
I guess he remembered that he hadn't checked which medallion required earlier, so he wanted to get that check in real quick.
Yeah. I guess another thing to note, too, is he has an off-sequence fire rod. Maybe he's thinking they shouldn't go to Mire for that reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he doesn't want to break the sequence even more and then get confused about where he should be going next.
Yeah. I do want to put out the reminder that Head and Pyramid Fairy can have items because we have the means to deal with them both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's both still open. We couldn't check what Pat has yet because we don't have the book, and Pyramid Fairy is still that Skull Woods play away, which is open to both of these guys right now.
I think Raja's going to go take that out right now, actually.
Yeah, definitely looks like it.
So, Rocket, I think he's having issues figuring out what dungeon he should be doing next. I guess he's gonna go check the pyramid quickly. It is a bit of an odd little information overflow, not knowing exactly where you should be going. Raja has the information that the moth is actually on sequence, so he can actually go kill it.
Yeah, and one thing to remember is also that we're still not 100% sure that Rocket Racer saw that ice rod on the floating island, so that might really come back to haunt him eventually here.
That's also true. Rocket may also be trying to rack his brain on where this lamp might be, and he just can't figure it out. I think he's thinking about Ice Palace now.
Yeah, it's really a little unfortunate for Rocket, I think, that they've already checked so much of Death Mountain, both in the light and the dark world, because he doesn't, Spike Cave, okay, sure, it is accessible, but it's not really a super attractive location.
Yeah. Well, that money would have been a little nicer earlier, but still a lot of money. And Ice is on sequence without Fire Rod, thankfully, for Rocket, so he doesn't have to worry about not coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
Raja's just gonna spam that half magic fire rod to his heart's content. Moth should go down like nothing. This should not be hard.
Yeah, I mean, lots of magic left, a fire rod, plenty of hearts, red mail, a butter sword. I mean, Moth is a terrible boss fight, don't get me wrong, but it should really not be much of an issue here for Raja.
Yeah. For everybody in chat who's not aware, in the original Link to the Past, Butter Sword could actually not damage Mothio. It was a bit of a coding oversight by the developers. I believe the Butter Sword was coded as spike damage, and Mothio is immune to anything when he's touching spikes. So,
Yeah.
you couldn't actually damage him. The Rando team had the Butter Sword to kill Moth. Kane.
Ooh, that's a big one.
We just need Hookshot, and that means we may be able to go Mode Swamp.
And we're getting closer and closer to our go mode here.
Yeah. Raja, probably, if I was him in this position, I would go do that Pyramid Fairy right away.
I would probably go straight to Meyer now.
Okay, yeah, your guess was correct there. Pyramid Fairy on the table now for him as well, but Meyer is now fully clearable.
Yeah, I think the Pyramid Fairy is a very good idea. Definitely something I personally also enjoy checking. I just think that's a cool thing when you have those two crystals and you can check the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, it's 2 items in both locations. Meyer doesn't have more than 2, but at least Meyer gives you another crystal, so
Yeah,
that's
you have to
always
come
good.
here anyways. The reason to do Pyramid Fairy sooner rather than later is to not forget you can go there. It's very easy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Chad is rightfully pointing out, you can also now get into Terrell Rock. Doesn't have the hookshot, but it's not necessarily required.
Well, Rocket did find a small key, so he could have gone back upstairs to check the other items. So I don't believe he had gone there yet. But he had the big key and found bombs in the big chest.
Alright.
Oh, and he did not bomb jump. I guess he was expecting to full clear the dungeon. Or he's going straight to Cold Stare.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. He's basically just go-moding this for the green pendant, maybe?
That's his decision, yeah.
Oh,
and he hasn't had... Oh,
here.
no. Rocket, what have you wrought? Now you need that key. Oh, boy. Because he doesn't have the cane to shortcut that room. If there is something important here, that is going to hurt him a bit.
He could have gone back now that he has a small key if he wanted to, but...
Yeah. But he's also got the iced tea room over here.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if that's item 2 or... Actually, no, that has to be item 2 because he found the big key and the small key in the first 2 chests. So he's got right side left, and this is where Rocket is going to remember he does not have hook shots.
Yeah, this could be... I mean, I don't want to count him out at all. He impressed us with his dark rooms earlier, so maybe he has got this bomb jump down.
Maybe. We'll see. If there's a bomb jump to practice for an unfortunate incident in a tournament, it's this one. He's going for it.
Yeah, apparently he knows the setup at least, so we'll see what happens. Oh, did he get blocked by a jelly there?
No, he went straight back. The bomb was not in the right position, I believe.
No.
So Raja is opening up the vanilla big key location. Just gonna sit through cutscene room here.
Yep, not a fun place to check, but if it has an item, you don't want to miss it.
And judging by his key count, I don't think he's found anything important in Meyer yet. Especially with that many keys.
It looks like Rocket dipped out of Ice Palace before doing anything else, really.
What's unfortunate is the key he would need to get into that upper portion is now locked behind the key door and locked behind Hookshot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looks like you
I
just
don't know
remembered
if...
something. Always checking powder.
Yeah, now I'm not sure how big of a problem this could be for him, but could the hookshot be in that back room since the key was given early enough? Or would he have needed another key to make it in logic?
That's a good question. I think it could theoretically be there.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but it's a bad worst-case scenario to think about.
Yeah, and chat is correcting me immediately. Right side is always hookshot locked. That's what I originally thought.
That's kind of what I thought. I wanted to be sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure myself, but at least there's some people who know what's up.
Alright, so I think Raja still has one item left to find on Vidi in this dungeon.
Yeah,
but
and it
with
looks
silvers, Vidi is no problem.
Yeah, Vidi was with the silvers, no big deal. I was just gonna say, it looks like Rocket is making his way back to, hopefully, Skullwoods now.
That does appear to be where he's going. He's gonna try and forgo the fact that the lamp is not in his possession and like try to truck on here, just press on with the seed.
Problem for him is gonna be that he's gonna be faced with more dark rooms if he also decides to go into Mire immediately. He could decide to instead go into Eternal Rock, which only has one dark room that's not super hard if you know the way the platform moves.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one. What will potentially be a problem for Rocket, though, is if Ice Palace ends up being required for either the Green Pendant or the Pedestal, he will need to return there and probably just use his cane to go kill Cold Stare.
And as you were mentioning earlier, Raja just devastating Vitreous here with the silver arrows.
Vitreous just becomes a shooting gallery. Oh, hey, the book!
Okay, that's, at this point in the seed, that's not really something you want to find, necessarily.
No, you definitely don't. Do you go check Ped now?
I mean... probably not, I would say. Unless you're, you know, in the region, I guess.
Yeah, it's just the concern of, if you do know where the hookshot is, you could potentially say, you know, Gomo T-Rock, since it's one of your remaining dungeons. Even if Gomo and T-Rock really isn't that much faster than normal T-Rock.
Yeah, it sadly really isn't, but still, the knowledge would be good to have. I don't know, I just think runners have, I don't know, a natural aversion to the pedestal.
Unsurprising, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, Regar was also mentioning that since ice is typically hookshot locked anyways, don't bother with Ped because it's pendant ice. So Hook is probably in a dungeon somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find it somewhere. I mean, the question for Raja is really going to be after this. Do I want to go into Turtle Rock and finish that up? He could, theoretically. The hookshot really only makes the torch room in the beginning a little faster. It doesn't, you know, you don't really need it necessarily.
Yeah. Another option is to check the pyramid right before going up the mountain.
Exactly. And if you don't do that, do I dip in the Swamp Palace without the hookshot? Also a possibility.
Vanilla hookshot would just be like the icing on the cake in this seed.
It absolutely would be.
Simultaneous boss kills. And simultaneous... No, actually, we have 5 crystals for Raja. Rocket's behind 1 still.
Yep, still missing the Mire Crystal, where I'm gonna assume he's gonna head to next. Oh, he's going back into there for the last item. Oh, yeah, of course, both of the items were in the back. Makes sense.
Okay, I guess this is another correction since chat is mentioning it. Head might not be dead because Ice doesn't need the hook shot to complete it, like with like Rocket, like how Rocket did it. He can use the cane to finish the dungeon still. So it may still be on the ped, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, looks like we are getting a Pyramid Fairy chink here from Raja, which, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I would have taken this out at this point. Rocket. Looks like he's going to either Spike Cave or T-Rock. Either is beneficial. The lamp will put him back on sequence mentally, and T-Rock is a good check. But I hope he knows that Ice Rod is where it is. So we'll see exactly what happens here, and exactly what Raja finds inside the pyramid as well. I did not see what the first item was, but it'll be on the restream in a moment.
And Rocket finally going to be picking up his lamp here.
Yep. Okay, the first item was 10 arrows, so yeah, not in pyramid.
Nope, nothing in Pyramid Fairy. Looks like we're going to Turtle Rock.
Yep. And I don't fault Raja for this. It's 9 times out of 10 the play you make when in this position. This hookshot could also be on those Armos Knights, by the way.
Yeah, it's really kind of a difficult decision because he could also just go through Hera now if he felt like it.
Yeah.
Alright, so now RajaLikeTheTiger also going in the mire and not going to have to deal with the Dark Room, which is probably a relief for him here.
Yeah. Also gonna check out Ether here on Raja.
Oh,
or...
I hope they get at least 19 hearts.
I know we've skipped a heart container or two, so we're not getting to 20.
No, we definitely aren't.
18 or 19 hearts would just be absurd.
And you know, seeing Raja heading to Turtle Rock here right at the moment, I'm again reminded that I do hope that Rocket earlier saw the ice rod on the floating island, or will at least see it on his way up to Turtle Rock, and grab that.
Because if he does not know where that is, he's in a good deal of trouble. You'd think Serta would know where the ice rod is, given her glacial affinity, but she's also not the sharpest tool in the shed, so she probably would forget where it is. Alright, time to go check out what 5 items T-Rock has in store. Hoping to find the big key early, to avoid having to use a key.
And oh, there's go mode. Our hookshot. Okay, that was quick.
Alright, that's go mode.
Yep, that is go mode for Raja, so that means after this he can go mode Swamp pretty much, which is going to be a pleasure. And then we're off to Ganon's Tower.
Now, I suppose it makes very little difference here, but since you just found the hookshot right at the start of the dungeon, would you be inclined to leave and do Swamp quickly first, just to make the return trip up the mountain to Ganon a little more convenient?
Probably not, because in the end it would probably take you longer.
Yeah, it's about the same time. You have to come back up the mountain anyways. It's just kind of the question of when would you rather.
Mm-hmm. And since you're already here, might as well, you know, finish it and then do the rest and come back up here.
So for Rocket to keep in this, he needs to go to T-Rock immediately when he's done with Meyer here. He's not too far behind, maybe only like 2 or 3 minutes, but the longer it takes, the more distance Raja's going to get.
Yeah, and if you really should not know, which I don't hope, but if you really should not know that the ice rod is up a floating island, he might not want to go to Turtle Rock, so he might, you know...
that might make him less inclined to go there too, and that would be a big problem, because he needs to go get that ice rod.
So it's really going to come down for Rocket to what the next play is going to be after he's done with Meyer here. If he immediately heads up to Turtle Rock and grabs the ice rod, he's got a chance, I would say.
Yeah, this is not completely out of it for Rocket. He can definitely catch up. But it's unlikely that GT or Ganon problems will happen unless a Ganon fall is in the works. So it's going to be mostly made up by execution.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, gets hit by the bunny beam there, but finally gets that pokey. So annoying, these guys.
Yep. And he does have that big key, so he doesn't have to worry about opening that door. Gonna hope he can dodge the laser bridge and not have to check it for any keys.
Yeah, really, unfortunately, the only way you can speed up Turtle Rock Go mode, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, Rocket, you have 2 hearts left, I just noticed.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I remember him taking or drinking 1 blue goo that he had, but I think he has another one. Oh boy.
He should have another one. They both did the hammer pigs. And he's looking to get an anti-fairy when he can.
Yeah, there's one right here. Very nice.
Fire shield in the big chest in T-Rock.
Oh no, and Rocket Racer misses.
Yep, he's gonna have to reset that room, which I think entitles going back 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm. Gonna take the long way around.
Yep. Alright, Raja hoping for a key. That is not a key. Gonna have to go to the laser bridge.
Not even a third free blue goo, just an empty bottle.
I mean, there's blue goo in there if you think hard enough.
I guess.
Yeah, Raja should be quickly through this room. Though, I was about to say, no, he did hit the switch. For a moment there, I thought he didn't. Rocket, meanwhile, is heading down to the lower part of Meyer on his way to Cold Stare. Raja's going to attempt to do laser skips. Got the first one.
Yeah, really only looking for that key, so he's hoping he finds that as soon as possible, and there it is.
Oh, there it is. So, off he goes. So Raja's just got Trinex and a very short trip to Argus in his future.
Yeah, and as we were pointing out, and as everyone has seen, with how generous the seed has been to these guys as far as hearts and equipment goes, both Trinex and Argus should be no problem at all.
You could zero cycle Trinex here if you're quick with it, and no, it looks like Raja's just gonna go for the safe 1 cycle. To zero cycle Trinex. Yeah, he is trolling a little bit. To zero cycle Trinex, you have to dash behind him with boots and you need the butter sword. You can't do it otherwise. Otherwise, it's just a quick 1 cycle.
It's pretty hard timing-wise, and you also have to position pretty accurately so to not get knocked into the spikes and stuff.
Yeah, it is hard, but it is very impressive looking if you know how to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure. There we go, almost a simultaneous boss kill again here.
Yep. But Rocket is a full-length TR behind.
Yeah, now really is going to be the moment of truth here for Rocket. If he immediately flutes up to Death Mountain and picks up that Ice Rod, he's not too far behind. But if he doesn't know that the Ice Rod is up there and he goes and does some pendant dungeons or more overworld checks, it's not going to be too great for him.
I mean, Pyramid Fairy, again, he hasn't checked that. That might be on his mind as well. And it looks like that might be where he's going.
Yeah, hopefully he might also. I'm thinking the flute to 7 instead of Link's house means he wants to go to Swamp, but I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, Swamp would be the worst decision right now for him. He doesn't know that, but it would really cut into his time considerably since Raja's not going to check any of this. But it looks like he's going to the Pyramid.
Yeah, totally fine. Okay, thank God.
And Raja basically can ignore every single chest in Swamp. Like, he could open, like, a convenient chest or two on the way. There's no point. He has pretty much everything he could possibly want.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, really, the only upgrade he could still find is a Riot Shield. And why would you want that?
Yeah, a net wouldn't be too bad either, just because he has an empty bottle now, but really, he's got every essential item. And even the commodities like Cape.
Yep.
Raga gonna get his terrible Pyramid Fairy prizes.
Yep, and hopefully, as we were saying earlier, he is heading off to Death Mountain now.
Yeah, let's hope for his sake he goes straight to the turtle. But given where he's walking, I'm not sure where he's going.
I'm not sure myself. He took the mirror out, but he's switching to Hammer now, so he wants to check more Dark World locations, it looks like.
I think I know where he's going, and this is not good for him.
Oh, is he going back to Swamp?
He's walking back to Swamp.
Oh, man.
That might seal this.
Yeah, if he's dipping into Swamp in the hopes of finding the hookshot in here, he is going to be in for a big disappointment, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's gonna basically clinch this in Raja's favor.
Yeah, that absolutely seals his fate.
I mean, something could happen, who knows, but very, very unlikely Rocket can catch up if he's going this way. So this chest here, sometimes people will pick it up, but I think you just skip this.
Yeah, I mean, in Raja's position, what more could you hope for at this point, as we were saying?
Unless there's some magical extra tiering to one of his equipment items we're just magically unaware of, he has no reason to open anything.
And I'm also seeing that he has 62 arrows, so he's not going to be lacking on those.
Yeah, it looks like we got almost every arrow upgrade as well. Because he's either like 65 or 70, and 70 is the cap.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, though, this is going to be what looks to be probably a sub 150, and that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the GT bit key could troll them a little bit depending on where it is, but it's definitely looking like a pretty respectable time here.
Another big 20 on Argus, and the downing of the 7th and final boss for their crystal. And that means it's time for our little GT guessing game.
Yep, you're absolutely right. As Raja is making his way back up to Death Mountain and to Ganon's Tower, you guys know the whole deal already. 22 possible locations, You guys get to guess where that big key will be hiding today. Do you have a number that you usually guess?
I tend to bounce a lot on the numbers. It's usually like never the same number twice in a row.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the fire bar room, which is normally just 8.
Oh, interesting. I usually choose number 8 as well, but that's my number that I always choose.
Huh.
But we will see.
If everybody putting their guesses down in chat, I'm seeing a bunch of different numbers here. A couple people hoping for early keys, a couple people hoping for late keys.
Yeah. 14, 9, 15, 10, 11. I don't think we've seen anything over 20 yet, which is a pleasure. A lot of people usually go for the tile room.
Yeah, there's always a hope for tile room, but a lot of people also like picking Bob Chest, which in typical rounding is number 14.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Raja is now on his way over to Ganon's tower, giving a quick visit to the Lionels here.
Yeah. As Rocket makes his way to the ever-dreaded left side of the swamp. Oh, there's a couple tire room guesses.
Yep.
Alright, here we go.
Here we go.
And there's 50 rupees and a key. Opting to not check right side first. Some runners, when they find a key in those first chests, will consider it. But a lot also still stick with the traditional route of going left.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I would say with the last tournament, a lot of runners picked up that right side first check, but I don't mind this route either.
Yeah, I haven't seen the... We were on chest 5, I wasn't paying attention to a couple of the chests, but I don't think we found anything important yet.
No, I don't think so.
But more pieces of heart again.
And Rocket Racer continues checking the overworld here, unfortunately for him. Not gonna find what he's looking for.
He really does not want to go to T-Rock. Oh, hey!
Alright, there we go. That was number...
That was 8. That was the fire bar room.
Oh yeah, right. That was number 8. Go us! Oh man, look at that! Called it!
If you count Torch, that was check number 8, because Torch is number 3 or number 7 typically. Because even if you don't get what's on the Torch, you still technically know what's there, so you've technically checked it.
Yeah, the torch definitely counts as a place.
And yeah, Rocket finally getting the old man too. I forgot he hasn't done this yet.
Oh yeah, very true. I completely forgot about that as well. Oh man.
He held off till he had that lamp.
At the very least, he's back up on Death Mountain, so maybe he'll make his way over to Turtle Rock eventually, and hopefully also run into that ice rod on Floating Island.
I do think, realistically, this is all he has left, because he's checked almost every other possible location he can go to without dipping pendant dungeons.
True.
Raja enters the gauntlet. With a Swiss Army knife of weaponry, so this should be a very interesting sight to behold.
Yeah, and already putting everything to good use here, both the silver arrows and his sword. Gets a little trolled by these Stalfos, but that's kind of par for the course, I'd say.
Yeah. One thing that he could also be doing, because it's kind of a neat thing to do in the gauntlet, is if you have half magic, you can actually spam the fire rod to your heart's content here. When the fire rod comes into contact with these Stalfos, the skeletons, it actually will destroy them without an incineration animation, so it's actually pretty convenient. So if you have the magic to spare, consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good gauntlet, though. But he got nicked quite a few times on the way.
Yeah, he didn't have a great time there. Probably gonna get that fairy, I'd assume, yeah.
That is going to throw off the sinking of these Moldorms in this room, though.
He can definitely get in there. He can get in there and do a gold sword. Oh, barely misses it. That really has the potential to damage all of them if you time it right.
Also, I want to try to correct myself again. Those are the Lambos, not Moldorms. I have the wrong worm in mind. We'll see him in a minute.
You know, worm. Some kind of worm.
Okay, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Rocket here because he still doesn't have it.
Yeah, if she's not going over to the left here and picking up the ice rod first,
God. He knows.
Oh, okay. Phew.
He knows,
very
thank
good. God. And with that, I'm immediately curious about how many rage slashes or bombs he's gonna give that hookshot chest.
Yeah, because this is gonna sting. And it was interesting. Rocket had some pretty good early routing, but Raja managed to catch up through a little bit more, I guess, efficient checks.
Yeah, he routed things a little differently, and it just managed to really work out for him.
Yeah. Had a good intuition and instinct of where the items would actually be. Skipping all these chests, we have no reason. And Rocket's gonna go find that hookshot.
Yep, and Raja does not forget that second key that he needs from the mini helm soar. Oh, how did that bomb not hit? Or what the?
It did. Apparently, he hit it in such a way that the wall did not get destroyed.
Oh, this game.
It's either because he got hit at the same time or because he bonked at some point. I would assume getting hit. Alright, Racer's got his go mode. And he's gonna do, as I mentioned earlier, he's actually gonna go to Swamp first.
That I find a very interesting choice, because he already cleared a lot of Swamp, at least from what he could.
Yeah. Raja also opting to not open the final chest of the game. His decision. Some runners like to open that chest for fun, just for the heck of it, because it's the last one you can open.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just gonna go straight to the wizard, try to clean this up. That's not a very good first pattern.
No, there really isn't.
That's a little better. That's even nicer. But a blue ball, so yeah, it was gonna be 4 at most, at a very minimum. Looks like we're going one more.
Yeah, not getting the greatest patterns here.
No, the early patterns were looking good, but the very first one was terrible, and that kind of just led everything else to not be as great.
Alright, but here we go. Raja defeating Agatu, and now going to be heading off to his last fight with Ganon. As we were pointing out like a million times throughout the seed, this guy and his opponent as well, they're extremely well equipped, to say the least.
Yeah, so the pig will not be lasting long. Okay, I haven't seen some of these new Ganon quotes for this version. That's a pretty silly one. Ganon always has some pretty good ones, and the guys that come up with that, I do give them credit. They are pretty good.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in this game.
Yeah. On to phase 3 already. Power of Butter and a cape.
Alright, here we go, almost into the last phase while Rocket is making his way through the rest of Swamp here in go mode as fast as he can.
Yep. Just as a reminder to anybody who did come in late or forgot, the Silvers were over at Catfish. It's kind of a miracle either runner has these. Oh, don't get knocked off, Raja.
Oh yeah, I gotta be careful.
Oh.
Oh no.
Well, it won't take him long to get back.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he has plenty of time too, but that's gotta make you nervous, especially in a race situation like that.
In a race, when you have a race that has gone on for this long and your opponent has not done yet, that's a good way to get yourself into a bit of a tilt. That is going to change a couple aspects of this fight that he did fall, because everything is seeded the first time around. It's different after you've taken a fall or death.
Yeah, hopefully the teleport patterns aren't going to be too awful this time around.
Yeah. So they can be pretty bad. Rocket, meanwhile, takes out Argus.
Yep. Rocket grabbing his second to last crystal, going to be making his way back up to Turtle Rock and finish up that.
Raja low on magic. I believe he still has both potions.
Yeah, I know that he has at least one of them.
Chat asking, is Agar re-randomized if you die to him? I'm not sure on either case for that, actually. Because Agar 1 is also seeded.
Yeah, it's not so much re-randomized, it's the RNG is set at the beginning with the seed, and it just continues on from where you died, so it's not going to repeat from the start. It doesn't reset from where it started originally. It just continues going from where you died, and that's why it's different.
Raja has finished, though.
Yep, GG to Raja, our winner of this match. Unfortunately, we're unable to give you the official SR TV time here.
We'll see if we can maybe get a hold of him for an interview.
Yep, I'm gonna try to get him in here. Alright, so we're heading back over to Turtle Rock here for Rocket Racer. So yeah,
Rocket just needs to clean out T-Rock and he'll be right at GT. Shouldn't be like too long for him to finish either. Should be 10 to 15 minutes from now, most likely.
Yeah, he'll probably not take too long. He just has to finish up Turtle Rock here, grab his last crystal, and then make his way through GT and kill Ganon.
Yeah. Alright, looks like Raja is in the setup room, actually.
Yep, looks like he is here, so...
And there he is. Hello, Raja. GG, and congrats on winning your race.
Hey guys, thank you so much, man. That was quite a seed.
Yeah, GG, man. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that bat at the end though, like that was like the biggest bat boost I've ever seen. I'm never dashing into a bat again.
Yeah, you got pushed like halfway across the room into that pit.
Yeah. I was like, man, that sucks so bad, but oh man, I pulled it out.
Yeah, you certainly did.
What were your thoughts when you saw Boots locking Mirror, locking Titan's mitts?
Well, at least I knew it was going to be straightforward. I was just on the lookout for Boots. Like, I was looking everywhere. Like, all this seed was giving was hearts and rupees for like 45 minutes. Like,
I do believe
I think I had like 16 hearts. Like, when I got my second crystal, it was insane.
Yeah, I think you guys found every single like normal heart container in the entire game.
But I mean, I appreciate the healthy seed, especially this was my first tournament race ever. So I got the red mail and the gold sword with 18 hearts at the end. I really like that.
Yeah, so it was a nice, comfortable, ease you in starting seed for you then.
Yeah. Rocket's a pretty good competitor too. I was afraid that he was like either ahead of me or on my tail because from the very beginning, like when I soft locked and escaped, like I just felt behind the whole seed.
You were behind for a while. You did eventually manage to catch up. Rocket had a couple of interesting routing decisions that they did kind of work out, but the big things that hurt him are he put off T-Rocks, so he went to swap before T-Rock. This was when you were like already in GT. And okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember past that. He had some indecisiveness on deciding what dungeons he was going to tackle, and that kind of cost him a little bit of time too.
I almost actually dipped into Swamp, and I was on my way, and I realized I was like, wait, I just picked up the cape, I have half magic, I know that Spike Cave is in Logic. So I headed up there real quick. Because I wasn't really comfortable doing the pod dark room, and as soon as I got the lamp, like, it was just straightforward from there.
Raja did do those.
Oh, Rocket did the dark rooms?
Rocket did, rather. Sorry. Yeah, he did do the pod dark rooms.
I mean, I've done it before. I just didn't want to waste a lot of time, and I just wanted the lamp to be comfortable. I knew that I would need it for Meyer for sure.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And you find that lamp immediately it put you on sequence because Rocket found that fire rod and was off sequence for a while.
Yeah, I think essentially the lamp was really what made the first big difference because it just made the rest of the seed reasonably straightforward for you on where to go. You know, you headed right back into pod. You got everything you needed there, which led you to Skull Woods, and then you know, all the other stuff. You could finish Meyer immediately because you had a lamp as well and stuff like that. And Rocket got the fire rod after doing everything in pod in the dark room, and he just kind of didn't really want to go to Skull Woods, it looked like, at first. Maybe to not continue the sequence break too much. But it took him a while to get there, and then he also didn't immediately go to Meyer, probably also because he didn't want to do the dark room in Meyer necessarily, I'm assuming. And
I went straight to Skull Woods because I knew that there was all the items were back there. Like my first dip in Skull Woods, it was just maps, compass, keys. So I knew that everything for Skull Woods was locked behind Fire Rod. I headed straight there as soon as I got it off Helmasaur.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Okay, I can shake all the jitters out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats on your first win. And especially if it was your first tournament race ever, the first one being a win feels really good.
Yeah, it's just gonna get tougher from here too.
So I guess overall,
thank you guys so much for commentating, by the way.
Yeah, it was our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I guess asking, do you think you did well, like with routing and execution this seed? I suppose
my execution was bad. Like I feel like I had more bonks this seed than I've ever had before. And then if I didn't have the luxury of the gold sword, I think I would have had a lot more trouble. Yeah. I thought that my routing was okay. I don't know. It just took me a while to get to Spike Cave. And then I left pod early, obviously, so...
Yeah. I also just remember another reason you got ahead is Rocket went to Ice Palace and wasted a lot of time there. So that certainly didn't help him.
I don't know, I didn't really see any reason for Ice Palace, because I wasn't going in Ice Palace for the lamp. Like, I would have done the dark rooms before that.
Yeah.
And then once I got the lamp, I mean, everything else just fell in place, so...
Yeah.
We, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. This is another thing that kind of came up is we had that ether medallion over in Lumberjack Cave for a while, and then you also found Fire Rod to give you access to the ped. Were either of those locations like considered by you when you were running?
I wasn't thinking about pet at all because I knew that all I needed was the Cane of Samaria and the hook shot. And once I got Samaria, I think it was on Mothula, then I went straight to Mire Desert, and then I didn't even really think about it. I was like, I'd rather go full clear Turtle Rock before even thinking about Pedestal. And then it was the first chest in Turtle Rock, so I was in go mode.
Yeah, it was right in your favor.
I did check Ether early. I checked that like right at the very beginning. But then I checked the tablets, or the medallions were both Bombo, so I was like, well, Aghanim's dead.
Yeah, it was convenient how it was the easiest medallion for you guys to find this sea, because Zora had Quake.
Yeah, I was ready to go to Aghanim though, because once I was headed to Mire the first time I did Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave, I was ready to go to Aghanim right after that. But luckily I didn't have to.
Yeah, sure enough. Alright, Rocket's finally making his way into GT now.
Yep, coming up in his GT. We'll have to see what he decides. I noticed you decided to not go right side first. Is that you just decide to go the quote-unquote old route normally?
Honestly, it changes every single time. Like, I do Ganon's Tower. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I felt that I was in Ganon's Tower first. So I just wanted to do the safest route. I don't know why I had that feeling, but I just felt like I was there first.
Well, you were there first, so...
And then sometimes I'll go to the top left, and then I'll mirror out, and then I'll do full right, and then I'll finish the left. And I thought about it, but I was like, no, I'm just going to go the traditional route. And I think as soon as I got Ganon's Tower key, I knew that I made the right call, so I got pretty lucky.
So your choices to route in GT give you a little taste of everything, so you'll pick like one of the routes and just stick with it.
Just depends how I'm feeling, honestly. Like sometimes I'll just go straight left and skip the 2 on the right. Sometimes I'll go 2 right and then I'll go top left and then back to the right and then full left. I don't know. It never makes sense.
Yeah.
I like to try different stuff. I don't know. It just depends how I feel, how lucky I feel like the seed's gonna be. But honestly, it was a really nice seed, health-wise, equipment-wise. So.
Yeah, like we were joking earlier, it's like, it's nice to get all these health pickups early. Then you had like 9 of them, and it's like, do we have enough health pickups yet?
I was waiting for progression, honestly. I was tired of the heart containers.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if either of you were tired with them. Oh, and Rocket here smartly realizing, because he, I don't know why he did this, he used the key between the left and right side. He needs one more key before he goes back up to the top.
Yeah. Sadly missing a small key now, but...
He knows where one is. There's one in a pot in this upcoming room. The bottom right corner. Like room right after where it was. Well, that was not the right timing, though.
No, no. And that Stelfos just won't give him any peace here.
Nope. Alright, now you can go to the top.
There we go. But yeah, Raja, any other thoughts about the seeds? Anything, any final words, any shout outs you want to give or anything else?
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for commentating, and I want to thank all the admins for getting us on Speed Gaming 1. I was super excited to be hosted on the main channel. I'm just really looking forward to looking back at the video. I'm going to watch it and try to learn from it and do it again. Get better.
Yeah, absolutely. GG, and good luck on the rest of your tournament.
Yeah,
thank you guys so much.
Pretty interesting watch, too. It's relatively close for most of it.
I'll let you guys finish wrapping up Rocket's race, and you guys can pull him in for an interview.
All right, have a good one.
You too, thank you.
Alright, Rocket, quick approaching gauntlet. decides to do that little fall strat. I see runners do this from time to time. If they have boots, they'll take a fall so they have invulnerability frames to just dash across that bridge.
Yeah, it loses a tiny bit of time, but it's just more convenient. There we go, making ample use of his bombos with the half magic, isn't worried about using up all his
this
magic.
is the I don't care gauntlet. I'm just going to blow the crap out of every living creature, or not living creature, within the premises.
Doesn't want to have to deal with any of that. And I don't blame him.
I wouldn't either. While we are waiting for the runners, for Rocket to finish here too, I should mention, if you like what you saw from both Raja and Rocket this race, make sure you toss them a follow on Twitch. They would appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely. On Rocket getting bullied here by those fireballs. Can't quite finish it off yet, but this should do it. Well, jinxed it, of course.
There it goes.
Also,
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, since we're still seeing it on the stream, item collection rate of 147 for Raja, pretty respectable, I'd say. That's quite low.
That is quite low. It just took us a while to find everything due to the way equipment was laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was going to mention is I didn't get to mention it for Raja when he was going through. The cane rooms are some of my favorite rooms in this game to perform. It's just so flashy to be able to use the cane to take out whiz ropes like that.
Yeah, it always looks super nice. Alright, we're coming up on the mini Helmosaurus, which he hopefully kills to pick up a second key that he needs.
Yep. Well, you remembered to grab the first key, so I imagine you won't forget the second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, looking good.
Take a small spike. Rocket, please do not press the button.
Okay, thanks. That was a little scary for a second there. Don't want to accidentally mirror out at the end of the gauntlet.
I imagine he may have stopped if he did that.
Probably, yeah. Alright, grabs the full magic container and off we go to Moldorm 2.
Yeah. The worst part too is if you're checking out the mirror in the room where you need bombs, and the bombs in the mirror have the same color palette.
Mm-hmm. It can go wrong really quickly if you're not paying attention.
Oh yeah. And troll arms down, just the wizard and the pig left. And we know from earlier that Aga 2's patterns were not very friendly, but Rocket might be able to clinch this out a little faster if he can position well.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he deals with the patterns here.
Only one at the start again.
This looks pretty good. Oh, unfortunate. Again with the blue ball, we had that earlier.
Yeah. It's 2 here.
You know, whenever I see something like this, I wish Aga could hit himself with the balls without you needing to reflect them.
Yeah, it's like, nah, and then it just launches at his face. Sadly, Aga's a little smarter than that.
All right, here we go. Only lost 2 hearts, so in very nice shape for the Ganon fight. I think he might also still have a blue goo left. I'm not sure.
I think he's got at least 1.
He does have, as Raja before him, half magic and the cape, though, so this Ganon fight should not be a big problem at all.
No, and it looks like he is going to miss out on sub 210 just by a little bit here. Those unfortunate dips into both ice and swamp really cost Rocket a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Hit quite a bit on the Ganon phase too as well.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate positioning for him.
Oh, he didn't even get the 1 cycle.
Oh, gonna get out the cape now. Probably a good idea. I think you should have it by now.
It's like, get the cape out, clean it up. Well, he's on phase 3 now.
Oh, needs to be careful with those bats. They do spin in a large circle, a lot larger than you would originally imagine.
Now, I imagine, yeah, he's gonna down a potion in transition here because he's low on both magic and health.
Yeah.
A direct hit from Ganon there would have killed him. Ganon himself
nice
by
choice.
that.
Alright, the last hit is in. Here we go into phase 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
No torch
interesting.
glitch.
Does get a silverless hit in without even spinning, though.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. Doesn't really win you any bonus points. This might be bad. Yeah, I definitely would have waited to see where he was before lighting the torches there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, here we go. Arrow number 2. Arrow number 3. 1 more to go.
Don't get overzealous, just let him shoot the fire.
Yeah, you don't want to fall down at this point.
Yeah, no,
There
at this
you
point,
go.
you just want to be done, not necessarily because you're trying to finish the race, but because you've been at the scene for almost 2 hours, 15 minutes, you just want a break.
Yeah, you just want it to be over with, basically.
Yep, and he's done.
Yep, GG to him coming in at around 2 hours and 12 minutes. Still a very respectable time. Just a few unfortunate routing decisions, as you were mentioning. Both the Swamp early dip without the hook shot and the Ice Palace dip really cost him a lot.
Yeah.
Should hopefully also get Rocket in here for a post-game interview in just a couple minutes or seconds, depending.
Yeah. That is, barring he still wants to do one. He may not feel like it after that.
Yeah, of course, we don't force anyone into a post-game interview. It's their own choice, so we'll see if he decides to join us or not. But yeah, GG to both of these guys. Quite the interesting seed. I think the biggest thing that sticks out, probably that whole boots into mirror into Titan's mid sequence, I would say. And it looks like Rocket is here, so he'll be joining us in a second. Hey there, Rocket. GG.
Hey.
How are you feeling after that?
That was actually probably one of my better runs. I think it went pretty well for my first race.
Yeah, for your first race, that wasn't too bad. You even had some instances of routing that did end up paying out in your favor, and you also got Pod Dark Rooms pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you did absolutely great. It was really...
If Mire were not a required dungeon, I would have just gone Lampless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really the main reasons you lost so much time compared to your opponent was you dipped Ice Palace.
Yeah.
And you also dipped Swamp prior to the hook shot.
The big turning point, I would almost call it, or the big difference maker, was that Raja went up to Spike Cave a lot earlier than you. I'm not really sure at which point in the game. I think you were just in Pod. He was also in Pod, but he left the Dark Rooms because he didn't feel comfortable with them. And he went up to Spike Cave and got that lamp, which sent him back to Pod, and he got the Fire Rod just like you did. But he immediately went to Mothula, and with the cane, then immediately went to Mire, which obviously, as you just said, you didn't really feel comfortable doing, I guess, because of the Dark Room there.
You know, Mire Dark Room is awful.
Yeah, no,
That entire base is dark.
Yeah, that is an awful Dark Room, I agree.
But the thing was because I got the because I found the Fire Rod in Pod, so I knew that Swamp didn't have Lantern couldn't have been, not Swamp, Skullwoods, and for some reason I was just pretty certain that the Lantern was going to be in Ice Palace, because I Spike Cave I forget a lot.
Most of us do, let's be frank here.
I mean, at that point in the seed, also, with the knowledge you had, Ice Palace wasn't necessarily a terrible play. Like, it wasn't a bad decision.
No.
It wasn't the right one in this case, but there's no way of knowing that beforehand, obviously.
It was relatively clearable.
It was somewhat ice pertinent. You kind of concerned us a bit there. Did you remember that the Ice Rod was where it was and chose not to get it immediately?
I partly forgot that I didn't need Hookshot to get the item there at Hookshot Cave, and I also figured, since I knew where the Ice Rod was, I can get it at any time.
Yeah, I suppose that does make some sense. Not to mention, I think at that point you were down to 1 heart.
No, yeah, I was not going to continue doing stuff in... Yeah, that's also why I had a weird route on Death Mountain, I guess.
Yeah. You were very thorough with the overworld, but you were, I guess, a little hesitant or unsure at times where to go for your dungeons.
But partly I usually, because usually when I'm running, in the past I've been more eager to go into dungeons, which has paid off less, because if you go into a dungeon when you... I've realized it's better to try and get into go mode and then dungeons. So I'm still trying to find the balance for routing.
Yeah, that balance is a thing that I think most people fight with to some degree, you know, even if they're top-level runners.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement.
Well, I think it was still a very impressive race. You didn't lose by, you know, an hour or two or anything like that. You put on a very respectable showing. Those Dark Rooms were very impressive. I personally can't do the Pod Dark Maze, and I especially don't wanna do the Pod Dark Turtle Room.
That was actually my first attempt at Dark Turtle Room.
Yeah, you did perfectly well. I mean, now I'm better than I would have ever imagined.
Can I use the Bombos or Quake there?
You can, if they're flipped over, yeah.
Yeah, if they're flipped over, you can, but not if they're not flipped over.
But if you know you've hit a turtle, it saves you time trying to fumble about finding it in the dark, so...
Well, I pretty much just kept my sword out, would wait until it clicked or until it got hurt, and then I would just hammer the ground and start swinging around.
Yeah.
I figured I had red mail, a lot of hearts, blue potion.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly fine.
Yeah, we mentioned this to Raja when he came in. You guys had like every single normal heart container.
Yep, you found them all.
When I was buying the blue potion before making my move on Turtle Rock and Gans Tower, I was like, wait, I have plenty of hearts.
Yeah.
Well, might as well get one more potion just in case. So I never feel comfortable going to those two without like 2 blue potions.
Yeah, a little bit of safety never hurt anyone, really.
So I'd rather that than have to buy potions after game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after time to fight game.
Yeah. All right, well, again, GG, and
Alright.
hopefully good luck on the rest of your tournament, man.
Yes.
And we are coming up to your item count here on the stream. We're probably a little bit behind from what you're seeing on your side, but I'm curious to see what you got.
That was a lot lower than I thought it was. This is a lot lower than I thought the
Yeah, we're kind of surprised to see that Raja only had 147, so it's like, it actually wasn't terrible, I guess, for item count.
I might be able to win that if I checked Spike Cave earlier, because then I wouldn't have got. Because if I had Lantern, I would not have dipped Ice Palace.
Yeah.
All right, so 161 for you. That's only like not even 15 items more than what Raja checked, so definitely not far behind at all.
Yep. Definitely a solid showing.
Any final words, final thoughts, any shout-outs, anything like that, Rocket, you want to give?
Probably have to learn better to deal with like the stress of a race.
Yeah, that just comes with experience, I guess.
I look forward to my next.
Yeah, so are we, man. It was a pleasure to watch.
Okay. Oh, bye.
Bye, have a good one.
Well, that is going to be the end of us here on this particular channel, but there's still a ton of rando going on today. A couple of races started a half hour ago. Oh, actually, those don't have restreamers. There are 2 races starting in half an hour, however. And if you actually want to hear me on commentary again, I am going to be on ALTTPR 2 for a race at 6 p.m. Eastern. Other than that, there's still races at the top of the hour practically every hour, so look around. You'll see quite a few that you can look around for.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out the links in chat. There's a link to the schedule that shows you everything that you need to know. There will be plenty of rando to go around all day, probably all night as well, and starting again in the morning at some point. It's going to be pretty crazy for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and if you want to keep up with this without having to check the schedule all the time, just make sure you follow the Speed Gaming 1 through 5 channels and the Link to the Past Randomizer 1 through 4 channels, sorry, to keep an eye out for more rando.
Absolutely. And again, if you enjoyed what you saw, please throw our runners a follow here.
Shout out to our tracker Hexmage for doing the tracking this seed.
Yep, doing a wonderful job. And I, of course, also want to shout out my wonderful co-commentator, Buckship Boo24. It was a pleasure, as always.
Pleasure working with you as well, Herfy.
And
we will see you guys some other time.
yep, have a great night. Bye.